Hello, warriors. Welcome to the U Movement. I am B. Wowza! Did you guys survive that, last stretch where, oh my god, we had, that full moon that just knocked us on our butts? Yesterday we had a new moon in Gemini, which felt like being in a shaker going like this. And then we also had Saturn move into the fiery sign of energy, Aries, demanding some action. Demanding to get real. Demanding to take a long, hard look at things. The last 2 weeks for me has been like like crazy. I do feel like today something shifted for the good, and I'm happy about that because it's been challenging. When you make a decision to make a major life change, and while I've made so many of them by now, I'm becoming an expert at this. That doesn't mean I do it well or easily or gracefully or beautifully. None of those things. No, but I do it. And when you make a major life change, from what I have experienced, this may not be the same for everybody, is you're going along, and you're like, yeah, I'd kind of like to do something differently. I'd kind of like to quit this. I'd kind of like to live somewhere else. I'd kind of like to imagine what it would be like to be in a different type of relationship or this or that. And you're like, yeah, but it's not so bad. Yeah, not so bad. And then you hit this brick wall moment that's like, no, I can't. And that can come as like a meltdown. That can come as a really stressful situation that arises. That can come as a tower moment where the universe takes everything into its own hands and says, yeah, I've given you long enough to hum and haw over this. It's time to make action. So I'm just going to make action for you. You're fired. Oh, I guess I need to find a new job, right? So all of these things are redirecting us. And when we're redirected, it completely and utterly shakes our equilibrium and makes us a bit dizzy and dozy for a little bit of time while we need to process through all of the emotions. So we're processing through the grief of losing something that was probably for a very long period of time. I've been living in this house since 2009. That's a long time. And so there's but sadness, and then we have to process through as well, maybe some excitement. What could it be? Maybe the next thing, this and that. And we kind of get bashed back and forth in a state of cognitive dissonance for a period of time where this Gemini energy, the twins, yes, no, stay, go, quiet, not quiet, excitement, play, safe, so we're bashed between two types of thinking because we have been living our lives one way, and that one way that we've been living, I can pretty much guarantee, is an egoic construct of safety, of security, of stability, of familiarity, of comfort, of doing things over and over again and expecting different results, but not ever getting them, but just keep carrying on, versus the unknown, versus facing the fears, versus tackling the shadows and challengers and the demons that we all have. And so this is where I've been torn in La La Land because there's a lot of panic that has come up for me, as well as a lot of shadow that has come up for me, because when you go through a major life change, you are forced to address certain core beliefs that you have about yourself and your ability to navigate through difficult circumstances and difficult situations. Selling your house is one of the top 5 stressors. We've established that. And in talking to my real estate agent, apparently I'm not alone in panicking about where am I going to go next. And he's like, listen, it's normal to feel that way because, you know, humans have a certain degree of safety when there is consistency. And he's like, listen, how this normally goes is we put your house on the market and then we worry about finding your next place. But me having trauma brain is like, I needed to do everything at once. My PTSD brain is like, I need a place to go. What if I don't have a place to go? And then my inner child is activated in that abandonment wounds of moving from foster care to foster care and going, oh my God, I'm not gonna have a home anymore. And nobody's gonna love me and I'm incapable and I can't take care of it. And all the programming that I got from my mother is rearing its ugly head, very much to do with you know, when somebody tells you outright, you are incapable of doing anything. You are useless. Something as big as selling your house, you're like, oh my God, how am I going to survive? What am I going to do? And all of these things, you know, and you spin out into La La Land, which is paranoia and anxiety and panic and a lot of things that aren't based on fact at all. You know, it's not like I'm walking away with $0 in my pocket, but like that's the way that I feel. I'm like, I need to sell everything. I need to like liquidize because I might have nothing except a backpack. You know, like my brain goes to the farthest extreme. My brain, because of the trauma, goes to catastrophizing. You know, what happens if the lawyers run off with the money and then I have no money and then where am I going to go? And then what am I going to do? And what am I going to do with my cat? And what like, like it's been a little bit, panic stricken. So I've been running around a little bit like a chicken with my head cut off. Trying to clean absolutely everything, because what if it's not perfect? And what if they look at the baseboards and they see a little bit of dust and they're like, oh, well, I'm giving another 5,000 under asking, you know, like that's how busy this brain is. That is trauma brain. Trauma brain spins and spins and spins. So I am trying as hard as I can to keep making sure every single day I'm giving myself the best nutrition. I'm giving myself time to just sit in it and feel it, whatever it is. And it's been a lot of fear. It's been a lot of negotiations going on. It's like having about, you know, integrated family systems is all about all the different aspects of self. That they also, for me, goes into kind of Jungian theory, and I've talked a lot about archetypes before. You know, I have a lot that are at play. So it's like a room full of people all arguing and bickering over a situation. We've got the inner child acting out, the abandoned child acting out. We've got the negotiator. We've got the prostitute in there negotiating money, you know, looking at things from a money point of view, because, you know, what am I worth? What are my values? Where should I go? You know, and she's saying, hey, wait a second, it's all right. Look, we got the money. You can afford something a little bit nicer than that, you know, like, because I'm looking at some places and I'm like, oh no, I don't want to do that. You know, the inner adventurer and the inner this and the inner that. So there's like this huge business meeting going on in the head with so many negotiations of like, you should stay and you should sell, you know, do this and do that, and for safety and for security, and renegotiate a mortgage. And I'm like, and then there's all the other aspects of me going, but I don't want this, and I don't want that, and I don't want this, and I don't want that, and I don't want. So looking at all the don't wants has been huge for me as of late. You know, it's all well and good to dream about something, but unless we take a long, hard look at what is, and, you know, each thing that we look at, is this something that I want, or is this something that I don't want? Whether it's a physical thing or it's, you know, a more convoluted thing, you know, like, do I want the responsibility of a house all on my shoulders as a single woman? No, I don't. I really don't. Nope. Do I want to live in this town that I live in? Nope. Never have. Never have. Haven't liked it since the day I got here. I'm very happy to move on from this town. Do I want to be responsible for other people? Nope. I don't think I want that. I've done that my whole life. I think it's time. I don't want that. So every time this side of my brain is like, play it safe, go this way, do this, try to renegotiate, all these like safe things. And my brain, this side of my brain did that many times in the past, especially in regards to jobs. Stick at this job because this job pays you, gives you a benefits package and there's a retirement plan, even though I hated it and I was bullied in the place. So I don't belong in corporate structures. So why I was forcing myself to turn into a pretzel to try to fit into a corporate structure when I was absolutely miserable. It was making me like sick and it was bad. But that damn benefits package, dental coverage, it's not a good reason to stay at a job. It's not a good reason to stay in a marriage. It's not a good reason to stay in a city if the don't wants are stacked up so high that your physical health and your stress and your emotional well-being are completely out of whack. Making choices based on what was in the best interest of my ego is what got me into sickness. I stayed in a marriage that was abusive. And despite banging my head against the wall for years and begging for change and pleading and trying 5 different marriage counselors, always to the same result, which was no result. And killing myself, bending over backwards, trying to appease them, trying to always calm the chaos and clean up the clutter. I don't want clutter. I want to live as minimally as possible. I want to live as quietly, as peacefully. So these all things have a greater amount of value to me than the safety, the security, the stability of the known. So the known does offer certain temptations, but those temptations to stay, to stay in that marriage was cost me my health. It cost me my mental health. It cost me my mind. Okay, it cost me my mind, and for that, there's no forgiving that. To have your mind robbed from you. To the point where you literally were getting early onset Alzheimer's diagnosis or recommendations of electroshock therapy for agoraphobia, like that. No. I asked to be separated so many times, and I just was never freed from it. So I could always see that I was stuck in something that I couldn't get out of. Thank God for this whole twin flame situationship that came in and gave me the strength that I didn't have before, the ability to love myself that I didn't have before, to free myself from that. And to free myself from, and that's what it is. It's a journey of freeing oneself, is my opinion. Freeing myself from all of the things that kept me stuck in the familiar. Freeing me from all the bad habits. The foods, the drinking, the smoking, the cannabis, freeing me from a reliance on pharmaceuticals, freeing me from a lifetime of choosing the safe path, choosing the path of least resistance, or what I thought was least resistance. Go with the flow of this. This is, it'll take me, it's easier to not move than it is to move. So I'm going to choose that. No, sometimes we need to take the path of some resistance to get ourselves up and resist ourselves, resist the temptation of stagnancy. resist the temptation of immobility, resist the temptation of non-choice, of non-movement. That's not living. That is not living. And I would rather live a life where I take risks, and if they fail, so be it. At least I've lived and experienced things, than stay stuck in one place, thinking that something will one day change, and it never will. I have a lot of gratefulness for my home situation, and it's gotten me from 2009 to 2025. It doesn't mean I need to be here for the rest of my life. It means that now is the time. It served its purpose. It provided a shelter for my son in a location that was close to a good school system for him, and he's turned out great. So it served its function. Have I ever wanted to live in a suburb? No. Zero interest in suburbia, but here I am. So despite having, fought really hard to keep something, the motivation and the meaning for keeping it are no longer active. It's time to make some risks, some choices, some shifts, some changes. That is what the divine is asking. They're asking us to take a long, hard look of the likes in our lives, the not likes in our lives, the things we want in our lives, the things we don't want in our lives. And if they're not like adding up with the person, place, or thing that you're currently in, it's learning to let go. It's learning to let go and create something new, whatever that new is going to look like. So I've been running around like a crazy person, getting my house prepared for sale. And it's emotionally been one of the really most challenging things I've been through. Not the most. I think that legal battle or escaping from an abusive marriage, I still take the top prizes, top 3. Let's say this is the top 4. This is the top 4 hardest thing I've been through in my awakening, and I'm only just at the gateway. I've still got a long way to walk. But I feel excitement for the first time in a really, really long time today. I feel a lot of excitement because I think now, we don't know. If this is true, this will be amazing. I actually think I have found where I'm going. And I'm going to actually see it. I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to actually go see it in the next couple of weeks. I have a meeting set up to do that. And it ticks all of my boxes. All my boxes. Does it have trees? Yes. Does it have water? Yes. Is it small? Yes. Is it a low price? Yes. Is it near my son? Yes. Is it like it's kind of like it would be a dream come true. It would be an absolute dream come true. So I don't want to jinx it or anything, but Spirit seems to be kind of giving me the green light with this one, and I'm really kind of excited. I will report back when I see it, because if I feel the land, that's the thing, is I can look at all the pictures and go, yes, 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 yes. But if I feel the land as a sensory being, I will know either if I am home or if I am not. And I will hazard a guess that when I am there, I will see a heron, because that heron will let me know I am home. Because that has always been the way. So I'm going to keep my eyes open for signs. I'm going to try to control my excitement in the meantime. I was listening to some music today that was really like motivating me to just imagine it working out. You know, I've had to process through, and this is what you have to do. You have to process through all of the doubts, all of the insecurities, all of the fears, all of the worries, all of the everything. You have to process through them. There's no way around it. You can't, you know, to every fear that came up, I was like, okay, let's look at this and let's take this apart, you know, because it was like I could hear my mother's voice in my head going, you're incapable of doing anything. You're incapable of doing this. And I'd be like, excuse me, have you seen what I'm capable of doing? Clearly not. You're not looking. So, you know, you remind yourself of what you are capable of. Look back and see what you are capable of. I've moved country many times. I can certainly move from one town to another. Like, why are you telling me I can't? I've maintained a much larger property all by myself. Why are you telling me I can't maintain a smaller one all by myself? You know, because I did 90% of all the DIY on this house. So I know when it comes to DIY, I got it covered, or I know to call a plumber or somebody to do something I can't do. So like this nonsense that we tell ourselves, like, I can't survive without a man, so I better stay in this horrible marriage. Being in that horrible marriage made me sick, and they certainly weren't doing anything. I was still doing all the DIY. So really, did that really bring anything into my life? I kid you not, and a heron just flew over my head. I think that's a good sign. So my point of today's video is not only to like update you, but like to let you see in real time that you can do it too. Whatever it is, you can do it. It is going to be challenging. You are going to have to face demons. You are going to feel unpleasant feelings. You are going to have to face your limitations that you've placed yourself in, that box that says, I can't outside of this box, and re-look at it for really, truly what you're capable of doing, because you're a warrior. If you needed the reminder, you are a warrior. If you needed the reminder, you have successfully survived every single day thus far. That's a 100% survival rate. So you'll continue to have a 100% survival rate. You have successfully moved through difficult childhood, complicated teenage years, abusive relationships, difficulty through an awakening, overwhelmed through all these initiations of health initiations and health crises, and dealing with financial struggles and strifes, and moving perhaps more than once in your life, you know, working jobs that weren't a good fit, being in relationships that weren't a good fit, walking away from people that weren't a good fit, creating boundaries with people that weren't a good fit and weren't respecting or responding you, learning how to communicate your needs and your wants, and understanding when those needs and wants aren't being met. You deserve more. So coming back into wholeness with self is about identifying the truth and uncovering the truth after years and years of like bullshit. It reminds me of, now I don't know where this is. I think it's in France. So they have all these statues, these beautiful statues. And well, there's a pigeon problem. And so these statues get like coated and coated and coated with shit. And when they set out to do this like huge cleaning project, they had to like, it wasn't like washing it off. It was like literally chiseling off. And that's what we have to do, is we have to chisel off this concrete shell of shit, of all the things that we've been told we are incapable of, so that we can be back into our shiny self, a free self, and step forth and have some adventures in life. I don't want to stay still because it's safe. I want to find safety in mobility, in movement, in new adventures, in new experiences. Why should I stay where I am devoid of pleasure and laughter and joy and all of these things, when there's an entire world out there full of people, full of things, full of new foods to try, full of travel, full of adventure, full of opportunity. So I don't want to play it small. I want to live life to the full, even if I fall on my face, and, you know, even if I have in my ear, you're going to fuck it up. You're going to make a mistake. You're going to do something wrong. And then, so I went through all that, you know, am I doing something wrong? Did I do something wrong? Have I done something wrong? Yeah, I'm sure I've done lots of things wrong in my life. I'm sure I've made lots of mistakes in my life, but as I picked those apart, as I looked at each one and said, you know, well, it was a mistake that I got together with my husband. Well, if I hadn't have, then I wouldn't have had any of these experiences that I had, and I certainly wouldn't be doing my YouTube channel talking about narcissism. So obviously, I guess not a mistake. Was it a mistake that I sold my old house and moved into this house? Yeah, I used to think, oh, that was the worst mistake I ever made. I was in it was a smaller, less expensive house there, less work. But then I wouldn't be here. Then I wouldn't have had those opportunities to, you know, have my soul kids. Then I wouldn't have, like, there's, like, to everything that we go, oh, that was a mistake. I shouldn't have done that. Oh, that was a mistake. I shouldn't have done that. And trust me, I've spent the last couple of days reviewing each of the mistakes, as my mother's voice keeps telling me about all the bad decisions I make and the bad choices that I make. It's like all those sci-fi movies where you have the ability to go back in time and change something in history, but when you go back and change something in history, it has a devastating effect on the entire timeline. You know, so like the question is, if you could go back in time, would you, you know, assassinate Hitler? Well, then what if in assassinating him, it created a whole different thing that was even worse? You don't know how that could have played out, right? So in our own lives, we have to, and I have to, we all have to, we have to look at saying, okay, the things that we think are mistakes, the decisions that we made that were mistakes, weren't mistakes. There are no mistakes. There can't be a mistake in the experience that is going and being human and collecting information on what it is to be human. The mission was go be human, like an anthropologist, and sit and observe and take in as much experience as you can, so you know what it feels like to grieve the loss, so you know what it feels like to suffer, so you know what it feels like to experience pain, so you know what it feels like to experience you know, joy and pleasure. You know, I lived. I love that song by One Republic. It's my song of the day today, is I Lived by One Republic. Please go listen to it. I lived. I lived thoroughly and fully and completely. I in my younger years, yeah, I drank and I partied. I partied like it was 1999. I partied hard. I partied so hard that I've reached the quota of that experience. I don't need to do it anymore, because now I want to do something different. Now I want to know what it is to sit surrounded by trees, and sit and write in silence, and just type with my cat and me chilling out in the woods. You know, that's my new party. Quiet. So we have to experience things to the fullest, and if those experiences you're like, oh man, I wish I hadn't have done that, and listen, I get it, you know. I wish that I had maybe wish that I never dated the way that I did. You know, my views on sexuality has changed so dramatically since my own awakening, and sacred sexuality is really incredibly important to me. But I had those experiences, and I experienced them to the full. I experienced life to the full. I grabbed life by the seat of its pants, and I said, let's go with it. Let's go on an adventure. Let's go to Tokyo. Why not? Yeah, was that a mistake? Probably. I dropped out of university to go and do that, you know. So a lot of people were like, oh, you shouldn't have done that. You should have gone to university and done what everybody else did. And, you know, had already done my college, and then I was into university. And in my second year of university, I was like, I think I want to go, I think I want to go travel to Tokyo and teach English. It's an opportunity that landed in my lap. Of course I'm going to take it. Did I make a mistake going to Ireland for 10 years? Nah. That was a life experience. Was it easy? No. Nope. Living as a single mom in a foreign country with no family, and trying my best to mask, and everything's fine. Everything's fine. Trying my best to mask. It wasn't easy, but it was an experience. So I've always experienced life to the full. So I experienced the fullness of what it is to be an abused woman. Not an experience I would have asked for, but I've experienced it, so I can understand and I can hold space for others that are in it. Experience Dark Night of the Soul. Not a fun experience, but I understand it, and I can hold space for others because of it. So yes, for me, the mission right now is to step into the new and experience life again. It's time. This awakening has had me in lockdown and in pause as I've processed through so many things on the internal world. It's now time to experience things again in my external world, and go and meet new people and new communities, and face some of my fears that I've been pushing off for a while, and saying, no, fuck no. Just because I'm afraid of it doesn't mean I'm going to stop doing it. I've been afraid of everything. Like, if you think that everything that I've done, there hasn't been fear attached with absolutely everything that I've done, then you're wrong. That's not what, like, a lot of people think that I'm like this really strong, brave person, and I'm like, I'm just crazy. I just do it anyways. I feel the fear, I feel the terror, I feel the panic, I have the panic attack, I put cold water under my wrists, and I'm like, right, we're gonna just do this anyways. We're gonna push through this anyways. When you've spent your life being told you're incapable of something, there's a certain degree of defiance that says, fuck you. Fuck you. I'll show you what I'm capable of. Like Little Nemo. Do you remember the movie Finding Nemo? It was one of my son's favorite movies when he was little. And, Nemo, you think you can do things, but you can't. And Nemo's like, watch me. There you go. I'm Nemo. Watch me. So to anyone out there that's saying, I can't do it, well, I did it. I quit all those substances. I did it. I'm sure a load of people said you can't do that. You can't quit smoking, drinking, drugs, pharmaceuticals, wheat, gluten, or the same thing, dairy, food coloring, fluoride, coffee. You can't quit all of that. That's crazy. Who can do that? I can. If you tell me I can't do something, I'm going to damn well prove you wrong just because I'm obstinate. Stubbornness has its value too, don't you know? So that's my update for everyone today. Please send up a prayer that this potential place all works out, because, oh my God, it would change my life in like every conceivable way possible. I would be like just as happy could be. Happy. What is happy? I like, yes. So send up a prayer for me. I'm sending up prayers for everyone out there, that you guys are inspired to do it, to just do it, to YOLO, to take the chance, take the risk, do it, do it, do it. Peace in. Oh, and thank you very much for all the likes, the shares, the subscriptions, the comments. I love my comments. And the donations. I love those too. Those are very useful, keeping me afloat. And love you all with all of my heart.